Hola, welcome to Spain. Hello, Tania. Buenos dias.
Buenos dias. Today we're going to talk about pets, which I'm excited about because we love our pets.
We do love our pets. And do you have an Spain that's maybe pet related?
I actually do. So, if anyone's been listening, they probably know we have a German Shepherd, among other pets, mascotas in
Right.
Spanish, by the way. And German Shepherds are, well, they're known for being smart, right? But funnily enough, so she is very intelligent, sometimes too intelligent. And we have a regular hike that we go on in the mountains, and we just like walk there and we walk up into the mountains, which is lovely. And we're right in the Sierra Calderon Mountains, and it's beautiful. You can walk for miles, and Blaze has been up there a bunch, not a problem.
Mm-hmm.
More recently, the pigs have been coming down closer to the
Are
like
these
houses.
pigs or wild boars?
They're wild boars. I'm sure we could turn them into hamon if we wanted to. If I catch them, that's what's happening to them, let me tell you. Anyway, so wild boars coming down from the mountain have been getting closer and closer to like our urbanization, and you can see because they dig into the ground. So you know when they're close because it looks like they've been digging for truffles or something. I don't know what they're digging for, but it looks like they're digging for stuff, and you can kind of see the ground there. And so
Are these boars? Can I just ask a question? Are these boars with tusks? Are they those kind of wild boars? Have you seen them? Do they have?
The first one that I saw was a dead one in the road that that had obviously been hit by a car. And this was about 2 years after we had moved up here. And I didn't know that they were that close. And they're not normally that close. It was enormous. It was the size of a small car. I mean, absolutely enormous. They needed to get one of those, a crane. They had to bring a crane to pick it up and put it on a flatbed to get it off the road. That's how big they are. And not something I would want to come across, to be honest, at all.
Right.
And literally, like a month after that, they put up signs all down the road. So obviously, this is new. This is a new thing for this area because they put up now. We have the pretty signs with the wild boar on them, like careful, don't if you're driving down
but
here.
Do they have the tusks?
Mm-hmm.
Do
they
have those?
They have the tusks.
Ooh.
Yeah. I don't think they're that dangerous. I did have a conversation with somebody. Obviously, all animals are more dangerous if they have babies around them and things like that. And of course, I wouldn't know anything about what's going on with that particular wild boar. So I'm just staying clear. And Blaze, all of a sudden, a walk that we've done 1,000 times, we went up the road and she got halfway up the road and she was smelling and she just turned around, and I have never been pulled so hard by her. Back to the car. I couldn't, even if I had wanted to, get her to walk up that road again. And
so she saved your life.
She probably saved my life. She could obviously smell the wild boars and was like, "Oh no, we're not doing this." And I was like, "Okay, maybe this is a one-off thing." Maybe there was maybe there was a dog she doesn't like, maybe something else. So we tried a whole other hike in another place that we've been to a lot. Same thing happened. All was good for like 10 minutes walking, and then she was like, "Nope, not doing it."
Wow.
So she was not interested in these wild boars that she's never met.
Right. But she can smell.
She has no experience. I was like, this is amazing. She has no experience with this and she doesn't want to be there.
Well, good for Blaze.
Good for Blaze, taking care of us. And I feel like this is, from all the places that I've lived, definitely a very Spanish thing because that has not happened. We have not been like running into wild boar anywhere else that we live. So that was a very Spanish thing.
But they are taking over the world, just so if you do move, they're everywhere nowadays.
And they have hunting season here. So where we are, we can hear people are going up and hunting. I don't know what they're hunting. I don't know if they're hunting wild boar, rabbit. I'm actually not sure. But there is a hunting season up here as well. So
gotcha.
So that's exciting, isn't it?
That is exciting.
Things you don't want to run into on a dark night.
No. I mean, I think wild boars can be mean. I mean, I would imagine.
Yeah. They do come out at night, I think. So that's what someone was telling me. You're like quite unlikely to run into them during the day. But I think it's one thing if you're just a human. I think they might probably not be interested in you that much. But you have a large dog with you that might create a contentious scenario that you don't want to be in the middle of, possibly. So
No, I don't want to be in the middle of none of that. So
No, me either. Yeah.
We don't have wild boars in the city.
No,
So
not
there's
yet.
that. Not yet.
So we're going to talk about pets in Spain, and we both have pets, and we did not bring ours from here, but you did. So maybe we could start, if you want to share your experience of getting your pets to your apartment in Valencia, because you pretty much went on everything as far as I can tell.
We did planes, trains, automobiles, and boats and everything to get here. So yes, we could not part with our pets when we left the States. So we brought them with us. And I think we've touched on this before, but we did, I think on one of our first episodes about how we moved here, right? So, but I'll bring it up again in more detail.
More detail in a pet-oriented way, let's say.
In a pet-oriented way. So we moved from Los Angeles to here. So we had looked at different options, and there is one boat that will take pets from New York to Southampton, United Kingdom. And that's the only boat. It's the Queen Mary 2. You can't get your pet on any other boat, can't transport them. It's the only way to do it. And when we were thinking about the move, I was like, it's going to be like a 14-hour flight or 14-hour, 15, 16-hour ordeal, really, if you think about it, from LA to Valencia. And I was like, I don't know if I can put my cats through that, just because cats will poop in the case, like it's happened before. Like they're not a dog. You can't take them out and have them do their business. And
right. That's not really a training procedure for cats, right?
No. And I will say, one of our cats, when we brought it home from the pound, it pooped in the carrier. So we knew we had one and we knew it was prone for that already.
We've definitely had that scenario going to the vet with a cat and out of nervousness. Okay. And if you're traveling, they're probably nervous. So it does the whole scenario creates an environment where that's highly likely, right?
Highly likely. So I was like, that's not right. And so when I found out about the Queen Mary, I was like, well, let me look at the cost of that. And we could fly from LA to New York and then take the boat and all of that. And the price wasn't that much different than if we were going to fly the whole way, because we were still looking at like $5,000 in airfares to move everything over. And the cost of the cruise for the three of us and the pets and everything was like $8,000. But that was with the insurance and everything that we needed. And we had a week's worth of vacation, free entertainment, and food.
Right.
So you can't, that was an extra $3,000 for a week. Like you can't go anywhere for a week for $3,000.
No.
And have your hotel.
So you kind of
a luxury hotel.
Right. So you kind of combined your travel here with a vacation at the same time. Perfect.
With a vacation and an unwindingness and all of that. And so I'll give you a little kind of tidbits about the Queen Mary experience, like what that's like. So you have to get your animals to New York and then then they get to England. And then from England, you got to get them here. So the process with that is you get to New York, you have to go through all the pet control stuff that you would have to do if you fly, which is, they have to have their rabies shots. Your vet will know what to do. And all this has to be done 10 days before, whether you fly, boat, or however you're getting your cats to Europe. You have to do that.
I have a question about that, because I see a lot of people asking about this stuff. And I'm always wondering, wouldn't it be best just to go straight to your vet and ask? Because wouldn't all vets kind of know what needs to get done to have a pet traveling?
They should, but you also have to make sure the vet is registered with the USDA.
Oh, okay. That's what it is. Okay.
So it's the USDA that produces documents that you need to travel.
Got it. So that's a good piece of advice. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And your vet will submit them directly and then get them back to you. And there's fees, and it's not cheap. It's not ridiculously expensive, but it's like $400 or $500 to get that process, to get the paperwork done
per animal.
No, I think it was about $400 total for both my animals. Okay. If I can remember correctly. I wasn't spending $800 because we might have had different
Then you're flying.
I'm not that cruel, people, but come on. But you have 10 days to get this paperwork it can't be older than 10 days. And so but you really want to talk to your vet like 3 months before, because they have to make sure they're the shots, and they have to be in their system for so long for certificates to work. And you have a 10-day countdown, and it is a little stressful, whether you're boat or planing it or whatever, because you get it done and you have weekends in the way, and you have to pay for FedEx and all this stuff. And I will say, our documents were supposed to be in our hands, and my friend called me as we were at LAX and said, guess what? Your papers just arrived. So she then had to FedEx them that afternoon to make it to New York by the next day. So we had them.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
it was like, you've got to be kidding me. And she did FedEx them, and they arrived the next day in New York.
Oh my gosh.
And then the day after, because we spent 2 nights in New York. So
okay. Otherwise you would have been the fancy people with a helicopter flying onto the Queen Mary in the middle of the Atlantic. What's going on?
The reverse medical emergency.
And now the price of traveling with your pets just went up by $100,000.
Right. But so your vet will know what to do. They'll have that all taken care of. But what was interesting about on the Queen Mary is when you board the ship, that's their arrival date into the UK.
Oh, I see.
So the 10 days before doesn't mean the day you land in the UK. It's the day you board the ship.
I see.
Heads up, because they're at the sea for so long.
Right. Okay. So no helicopters are possible because you've already technically entered
and
the
I've heard
UK.
horror stories of people not having the right paperwork, and I guess there's vets near the pet near the port. I mean, where people like have emergency run-ins.
Okay, that would make sense, because that seems awfully tight. That's I'm getting stressed out just you telling this story. So
yeah, and it was just because when we got to the port, they didn't care who got on the ship, but they were strict about those pets. They fine-tooth combed those paperworks to make sure everything was aligned for the pets. But they're like, sure, you can go on. I'm like, you don't even check my passport practically.
Well, and I don't know what other countries are like, but the UK is very, very strict. So I don't know how fine-tooth comb. I mean, I'm sure it is going into everywhere, but I do know that from other things, like if you need to travel to England from here with your pet and go across the channel and stuff like that. I mean, you have a lot of stuff too. It's not like once you're in Europe with your pet, you can just travel all over the place and go into England. You still need a lot of this stuff to get into England. They're very, very, very tight there overall.
Right. And this is why the Queen Mary has this service, is because people may not know this. You can't fly your pets into the UK. It's and if you can hire a pet transport service, and it's like $10,000 a dog.
It's ridiculously expensive. Yeah.
So the only way you can get your pet into the UK is by boat or by the Channel Train.
Right.
That's the easy way, and you have to go through this paperwork, but that's the way you can do it for inexpensive.
And you'll need to do the same paperwork coming from Europe to get your pets. You need to get some paperwork. I haven't done it yet, but somebody was telling me because they travel with their pets sometime, their dogs, to England, and you have to have these vet paperwork a certain days before you leave, and like it's the same.
Getting your pets into England is hard, but getting them out of England, very easy. So
they're like, please take your pets and go. But you had a nice experience actually on the boat too with the 2 cats, right?
It was extremely amazing. They're the kennels on the top floor, so they had the view of forever,
which of course they appreciated, because cats appreciate everything.
So you're allowed like 4 hours a day to visit your pets.
Oh, that's nice.
They have the times, but you have a lot of time. And it's funny because there were people that were there the entire time. We're like, there's a whole boat to see. We went up once a day and we're like, hey, cats, bye.
I would do that with cats, minutes. But I will say if Blaze was on there, 4 hours a day would not be enough. She would be, oh man, I would hear her howling from the other side of the boat, I think, if she was up there by herself.
Well, they do take them for walks. They're not just locked in the kennel. So you have time with your pets, but they have 24-hour caretakers that are in their cute little Cunard uniforms. It's very cute, and they're adorable and sweet. Like the people who do it, they're so loving and caring, and they have a New York fire hydrant and a lamppost from London on the deck, so when you walk your dog, they know they can pee in comfort and what they're used to. Yeah. Now it is a little bit, as the world is more pro dog than pro cat, meaning the dogs get to go out and walk and all of that stuff. But they do have a couple times during the week where the dog owners are are verboten,
Mhm.
and it's just the cat people time, and they have like a big living room up there too. So then the cats can come out in the living room and hang out with their owners,
Oh,
and
that's
that's it.
nice.
And you get pictures, and they have the ship's photographer. They have Ace, the ship's
Oh my
photographer, come
god.
upstairs and take photos that you can
Wow.
purchase, and the captain comes up, and you can get pictures with the captain, with your pet, and with you. So
Did
it's
you do
and they
that?
get a little certificate. Oh yeah, we did that. Yeah, and we had the pictures printed, and we got an ornament made for the tree
Oh
with
my
the
god.
it says Cunard and our picture with the
This
cats.
is
And
definitely not how most people are bringing their pets over to Europe. I have to say, this sounds nothing like any of the other stories that I've heard.
no. And and it seemed decadent, but when you look at the price and what you
Hmm.
get out of it, it really wasn't. If you're doing the move, and the other thing about it is, I mean, you still have to worry about getting your luggage there, but you are allowed unlimited luggage on the boat, so you don't pay more for that. So we had
Okay.
all of our 7 suitcases. We still had to
Right.
carry it and stuff, but it was great for moving a lot of stuff over. And if you're coming from the East Coast, you don't have to worry about more flights. I mean, it's
That's
really
gonna
something to
cut a
think
lot of the
about.
price out of it. Yeah, too.
Hmm.
No, I think that sounds amazing. I mean, definitely. And I think, did you tell me, or was I talking to somebody else that they said that there are, no, this was the boat between northern Spain and England. If you want to take, there's a 24-hour boat, a ferry that you can take.
There's ferries.
You can take your
Hmm.
dog on those, and it's a similar situation where there's a place, but they do have some cabins that allow dogs if you can book them.
Okay.
So that's a totally separate thing. Obviously, not coming from the States, but if you're going around Europe.
And you said if you can book them, that is important to know about the Queen Mary experiences. There's only 24 kennels,
Mm.
and it doesn't even mean 24 pets. So there's 24 cages. The bigger ones are on the bottom, smaller ones up top. But a cat will need two, because one side will be the litter box and the other side will be for them to
Oh, I
lay in.
see.
But the key to that is if you have two cats, they can both go in those two. So you're not paying double. You'd be
Got
paying
it.
for two cages anyway. Do you know
Yeah,
what I
that
mean?
makes sense. As long as your
Um,
cats get
and then
along.
people who have large dogs, they have to book two kennels.
Mm.
And so when we did the crossing, and I think the price is still around the same. It was about 800 for the smaller kennel and 1,000 for the big kennel. So we had to pay two. So it was 1,600 for the
How
two
big are the
kennels.
kennels? How big are the big kennels? Like if you look at Blaze and you put her in one of the big kennels, like is she got room to kind of stand up and walk around, or is it more like
I can't remember. I'd have to go through our photo album. I don't know if she would need two. I mean, they're tall.
mm-hmm,
That's why they're on the bottom. So they're very tall for her to stand
right.
up. But they are this. I think they're the same width as the upper ones, but I can't remember. I don't. Maybe it is 2 to 1. I don't remember.
Yeah.
I'd have to look through. I'm sorry. Sorry, I didn't
Oh
come
my
more
gosh.
prepared. I wasn't
Wasn't
expecting
expecting
that
that
throw
question.
ball
No, I'm
question.
thinking they're probably designed for the dog to be able to get up, turn around, walk, but not like really spread out, but maybe, yeah, like
Right.
it sounds like a regular sized crate for a dog. So if you've got an extra big dog, yeah.
I mean, yeah, they're tall. I mean, you're definitely a big, tall, an Afghan hound can
Right.
stand up in it for sure.
Right. Yeah.
But since there's only 24 kennels, there is a wait list, and they book up very quickly, like
Mm.
2 years in
Oh my
advance. Now,
gosh.
we booked ours a year in advance, and we were 7 and 8th on the wait list. So I had backup plans already
Mm.
in my mind, not necessarily booked, but I was like, if we don't get on this boat, then we either take the boat and we don't have the cats, and we have a friend fly the cats over a couple months after we've
Mm-hmm.
moved. Because then I was like, it might be just as cheap just to pay for one friend to fly over two cats.
Absolutely.
You know what
Yeah,
I
no,
mean?
there are other options. And obviously you can just fly your pets over as well. And I think
Right.
I think most people are pretty familiar with the scenario that,
There's like these pet
yeah,
transport companies, which are very expensive. I mean, if you're looking into that, and you're looking at cost, it is cheaper to fly with your animals than to pay a service to do it. Much
for
cheaper.
sure. And then there's like private charter, I
Right.
mean, which
Which
is,
is, I
I
mean,
don't know, between 15 and 30 or 50 a
oh
trip.
yeah,
I
I mean,
mean,
from LA, I
crazy.
think I looked, and it was like
Yeah.
20,000 per person,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh,
Oh,
that's
that's
cute, but
lovely. But
and the thing is, it's 20,000, and you're in a tiny Gulfstream jet, so it's not like you're like in the lap of luxury. You're like in a little
you're
bus
also
flying for 10
terrified.
hours. Yeah. I don't want to be
I
that close to someone else's
I don't want to
dog
be that
with
close
my
to the
dog and
outside
cat.
air. I just
No, exactly. You stretch out, you poked out a window.
right.
No,
But
thank you.
but the regular
So,
airlines that the dogs go in the hold or whatever, and I mean, there's quite a few airlines that will do that, and there are certain times
Right.
of year where they do not travel. If it's too hot, too cold on the tarmac, then they don't travel with. They don't allow pets to travel. Both.
Right. And certain airlines that do travel in the States won't take them internationally.
Oh,
So that's a heads up
interesting.
too.
Okay.
So I will say that, but let me just finish, if I might, the canard thing, because I just had like one other point that I was bringing up was the wait list thing.
Mm.
Is my cats were 7 and 8 on the wait list, but 6 months before they got off of it, and when I booked the voyage, I said they're that late because I was like, what are the numbers on all the wait lists for that summer?
Right.
And she was like, don't worry about it. She's like, what happens is a lot of rich people will book 7 crossings, and then they don't care if they lose their deposit as long as their pets get on the most ideal one that they want to do.
Oh, I
So
see.
when they get on the board that they want to get on, then they cancel all the other ones. So all these wait lists become
Ugh.
open. So they got moved up very quickly. It's another thing about, wealth being very annoying for us paupers,
Yeah, I mean I suppose that would be sort of useful if you have a lot of variety in times that you can travel. And yeah, so
Hmm.
the wait list, it's
And you don't mind losing a
yeah.
$500
So
deposit
it
on 10
sounds like
cruises, right?
the wait list is not something to be afraid of, and to talk to
Right.
them about the reality of where you are on the wait list, and the possibility of getting off of it. Probably it sounds like they were
Right.
quite accurate on their estimates for that, so that's good.
And it was 6 months ahead of
Yeah.
time, so I had plenty of time to still book our plane
Mm-hmm.
tickets and and get the rest of the trip
Yeah.
sorted. And I will say, since you brought up airlines, and we'll shift to the airlines, then we had to get the cats from the UK to Spain.
Right. And that experience would have been more like flying from America to Spain, or anything. You just had to get your cats on a flight.
Yeah, because we had the paperwork done, and that paperwork is good for 40 days after you're in the UK. So you have like, I think it's 40, it's either 30 or 40 days to leave the UK and come to Europe.
Mm-hmm.
So when you do it, you have to get the vet to fill out a form that says the pet's going to move on from the UK,
Okay.
that the UK isn't the final
Got
destination.
it.
Doesn't
But
take much
you
a second,
stayed a few days in the UK, and that was fine paperwork wise for what you
Mhm.
had. You had 40 days in the UK. I mean, you could have stayed a week in the UK and carried on as long as your paperwork's accurate for
As
that.
long as your paperwork was
Mhm.
fine, and so we were good on that. Now the difficulty is because no airline can fly pets in, very few are flying them out because they're just not dealing with I don't know if it's the hassle, it's just not on their thing. So like Iberia, where you can fly your pets around Europe from London, they only fly into Madrid, maybe Barcelona, but not to Valencia, even though there's direct flights. So we'd have to fly into Madrid and then switch planes, and then we did trains, and we'll bring up trains later, but that's how we got from planes to
Yeah.
boats and trains.
There you go. So it looks like you have financially a choice to make of how much you want to spend, and if you're spending just a regular amount of money to travel with pets, it's on a regular plane or on a boat.
Mhm. Or on a boat, yeah. And like I said, the price wasn't that much difference, especially coming from LA in the
Right.
summertime, right? If you're coming winter, you can get dirt cheap
Yeah, there you go.
airfares, right?
Totally
But
different. Yeah, and then you can hire people to move your pets with cars, correct? I think
from the
from the
yeah, so that
UK.
was what
Yeah.
yeah, so we were looking into that as well as like how do we
Mhm.
get from there to here, and what were the different options, because I was like, do we take the channel over? And there's even like pet taxi services that taxis wait at the channel for people with pets,
Oh.
and then you pay for the taxi service there and back,
Okay.
so you can bring your pet over, because you can't bring your pet on the Eurostar. You can only bring them on the channel train, which means they have to be in a car. Like you can't just ride the channel train with a pet. They have to be
I
attached to an
see. So you
automobile.
could be riding the train and pay somebody to go through with the car.
Right.
Like, it's so
And then they
complicated.
go back
Right.
with
They
their
just go
car, and
back
you're
and
stuck in
forth.
Calais, being like, I don't know where I'm going with this pet. The other thing too is there are these pet transport services, which I've seen on the message boards.
Mhm.
People talk highly of them, and it's like these big, like tricked out, like Mercedes vans with a bunch of kennels in them, and they pick up all the dogs, and they arrange for all of the paperwork and everything that they need, and then they drive through Europe and drop off dogs along the way. So
That's
you
handy.
could also do
Well, and
that.
I will say, I mean,
No.
we drive with Blaze on vacation, and she goes in the back of the car, and you are required by law. I haven't owned a pet myself before. I grew up with dogs, but that was in the 80s, and I'm sure things have changed.
There was no
There's no
rules to
rules.
owning dogs in the
You are
80s.
required to have your dog your pet secured in your car in some way. So they
Okay, like a
can't, yeah,
seatbelt
like a
type of
seatbelt. Like
thing.
we have like so either an enclosed area in the back, which is what Blaze has, because our trunk is a hatchback, and that whole trunk area is
Oh,
hers.
I've seen those cages that people like. There's like
Yeah,
a tension
yeah,
cage screen
exactly.
kind
You
of
can do
thing.
that, or if she wants to go in the back seat when she was smaller, we had a you can have like a seatbelt for them that like attaches to their collar. So what I would do with her, I don't think you really want it attached to a collar, so she would then have a
Hmm.
uh what's a harness
Harness.
on, and we would attach the thing. We would attach her to the car with a like it's like a small leash that attaches her to the seatbelt, and
Okay.
that's it.
Does it hook to the thing that you
The
hook
babies too,
the car
yeah.
seats to? Yeah. Not the babies, the
The
baby
baby
seat. We
seat.
don't
Oh, is
hook
that how
babies.
it works? Oh, Zena might need therapy when she's older. Yeah, so
Oh,
one way
poor
or the other, like
Xena.
I would recommend a harness if you're going to attach your dog, not attach them with the collar, because a big dog or any dog would become a projectile in an accident, obviously, and that's what they're trying to avoid. So
Right,
yeah, everyone's
right.
driving happily until they're not. So anyway, so we've driven with Blaze a lot, and that's been fine. Just driving around Europe, we drove into France. I mean, there's no borders, and they have the same rules for vaccinations and rabies, and Blaze
Hmm.
has a passport, so she can travel.
Oh, I was just gonna
Mm-hmm.
ask that. Why are you reading my mind? So what? Because we never got the pet passport because my
uh,
cats don't leave the house.
right.
So we actually haven't even been to a vet here. So I'm gonna have some questions about vets because I've got cats. They don't leave the
They
house.
don't need anything.
I'm They don't need anything.
All of our pets are chipped and have a passport. It's very cute. And so I always forget to take the passport. So actually, thank you for reminding me, because we took Blaze to get vaccinated yesterday, and the vet's like, "Where's the passport?" I'm like, "I forgot it at home again." And they're like, "It's okay." So when they get vaccinated, there's a sticker on the outside of the vial of vaccination,
Hmm.
and they stick that into the passport with the date and the signature, so that there's a full record. On top of that, the
Hmm.
chip is it's registered with the chip. So the chip information, if it's
Okay.
scanned, will show all they have to they have to send all that information in as well. I don't have anything to do with it. All I do is show up with the passport. The vet sends all the vaccination records to the chip company, and that's all on there as well.
Right. Well, let me also add to that chip thing. You need that before you arrive
Mm,
as well. So
that would
back
make
in the
sense.
states, they have to be chipped, and if your pet has already been chipped in the states, you have to make sure it's the right chip. It has to be, I think, 16 digits,
Oh,
not 12
interesting.
digits. So
And they didn't need a
and luckily my
passport to
cats.
get in?
No, no, because the passport's only a European
Got
thing.
it.
That's a
So the
European
paperwork
pet
was what you
passport.
had. Yeah. Okay. So here they have a
Right.
little
And now we
passport. It looks
should.
like our little passport. I mean, just a pet one, and it looks
Hmm.
almost it looks the same.
Do you have to do you have to take them to
To the photo.
to Elk Court for their passport
That would be
photos?
so cute. It describes their coloring and what kind of dog they are and their weight and all that kind of stuff. So it's not. I think that another dog could probably get away with it.
That seems easily
No,
forgeable. I
but
mean, I think some
the
dog
chip number's
spies
in
could
there,
be.
I think. So I mean, yes and
Ah,
no, all at the
okay,
same time. Yeah.
okay.
And yeah, we use the chips in our house for the cats to let them in and out of the house, because we have a cat door that reads the chip. So the chips are multi-purpose.
What? Okay, that is like
I
Star
know.
Trek's 2001: Space Odyssey. Like, what is that?
Well, when
That's
we first moved
crazy.
into our house, they weren't the only cats here. And all the other cats that are like out in the wild are like, free food and water. Ooh, and a soft place to sleep. This is great.
So they were having parties. You're out at the store. You come home. And there's
I'm not
30
sure
cats in
that
the
our
living room.
cats were interested in that party. There was, yeah, those other cats were kind of sneaking
Okay,
in and getting things, and
they were
mhm.
occupus. They were
They
occupus.
were, yeah. I think some of them might have been invited by our cats, and some of them might have been just taking advantage of a good scenario. So, so we got as they are nocturnal, we figured a regular cat door would only invite absolute chaos at 3 o'clock in the morning. So we got the chip door, and it's
Right,
amazing.
right.
So it took a little while for our cats to get used to that, but they did, because they knew that the food and water was on the other side. So it's amazing what they can get used to.
So I've talked about I had pets, but you got your pets
Oh,
here. Right?
all
You
of
came
them.
petless, and
Oh
then
boy, did that change.
so how does one acquire pets in Spain? How does
Hmm.
one's heart get torn out of their
Very,
chest? And
very
I mean, I just want
easily.
everyone to know. I just want everyone to know that Tanya has a menagerie of 500
Yes.
cats and a dog, so she needs to do some
Yeah, it's
splaining,
not even
as they
me.
say.
We did talk about this, I think, at the very beginning, because since we moved here during COVID, the plan, we had bribed our lovely daughter with a pool and a pet, a dog, I will say, a
Hmm.
dog and a pool.
I did that same
Mm-hmm.
bribe, and we didn't get the dog or the
So
pool.
jealous, so
Someone's a little
jealous.
stoic than someone else.
And so when we'd been here like a year, we realized we were quite far away from actually getting a house, because we needed to sort of spend some time looking around a little bit. And we had a friend, I should say, in quotes now, because it started and had a friend. No,
Had.
she's a very good friend, but she was getting a kitten, and then that kitten that she was getting had a friend who was a very cute little black kitten, and she was like, maybe you should have a cat while you wait to get a dog. These are not the kinds of friends that you need, obviously.
Those are not good friends, no.
It was very well me. She was like, Xena needs a pet. And when she was right, Xena did need a pet. And so, of course, this black cat, she was like, just take this cat for a couple of weeks. And if you don't like it, then this lady will take her back and find another
Oh,
thing.
that's how they get you. Oh, just take this for a couple weeks. You'll give it
like
back.
that's ever going to happen. So we ended up with
Yeah.
Luna, who's a very cute black cat, but not very interested in other people and other cats or dogs or anything. So we have her, and so we had her when we were in the apartment. And then we were walking through the orange fields, having a nice walk near where we lived, and found a kitten that had been dumped and was in quite poorly shape. So we picked her up and took her home.
Aww.
And I was very, very adamant to everybody in the house that we were just going to bring her back to wellness.
You were just going to bring her back to health?
And then try and find a home for her. But unfortunately, she had such a bad scenario with one of her eyes that she only has one eye. And then we were like, well, no one's going to take this cute little thing. So we kept her. And
so now you're up to
now
two
we're up
cats.
to 2 cats. And then
now how do we get to 500?
Oh my gosh. I just want to say, just the reason I'm telling this story is so that people understand how easy it is to end up with cats here in Spain. They are everywhere. They are well taken care of in colonies in different places, and people from the local village or community will feed and water them and try to get them fixed and all these things and take care of them. But then what can happen is a cat that hasn't been fixed will come and give birth to all its kittens in your garden. And so we have some friends that live down the street, and when we bought our house, there were 2 kittens living in the garden because no one had been living in our garden. So when we got the house, so then of course Jawad, without me knowing, starts feeding them because they're so cute and they're literally like 4 months old. And so he's like, oh, you want some food? Here's some food. Once you start feeding cats, they're yours. That is, everybody knows this rule apparently, except for my husband. So now we have 4 cats. And then we have some friends down the street who were like, oh, we will never have cats. We're dog people. That's never going to happen. They got a cat that had kittens in their garden. And their goal was also to adopt out all the cats. And they only managed to adopt out 2 of them. So they ended up with the other 2.
and their cats are
They're
cute,
all
right?
Cute. This is the problem. Cats are really smart. They know how to get you, and it's very, very hard. It's one thing. It's hard to resist them, and it's also quite hard to adopt them as well. So we had gone to for my friend, we had taken the mother cat to once she was ready and had weaned off the kittens. They wanted to take her to get her fixed so it didn't happen again. We took her to the local rescue. There's lots of local rescues where you can get dogs and cats and animals if you want them. They often won't take more kittens because they're like, well, you've got this one because you're coming to us and you're currently taking care of it. So you're at it. That's your problem now.
Right. Now, with these rescue places, do you know what they charge to adopt from
I
them?
don't think they
Do you?
charge. They might charge you just the cost of the sterilization, maybe, just because that's something they had to do. They're not
Okay.
going to charge you for the animal, I don't think, but they might charge you for some services, and I think they will require that the animal be sterilized. That's something that will have to
Hmm.
happen. So we took the mother cat to be sterilized, and I went down there with them. So it was quite a large rescue area, and it had dogs in one area and cats in another. And
Like in an
pretty much
indoor
it was
place or
all
like a
outdoor,
farm
but it
kind of?
was all in
Okay.
they all there was a lot of kennels, and then there was an
Okay.
indoor space for some of the cats and a lot of outdoor space. And something happened to the carrier that the cat was in, and the door came off and the cat ran out in all
Okay.
was running all over the rescue place.
Right. Right.
Oh my god, it was so crazy because now we've got us. There were three of us, I think, and about four people that worked at the rescue trying to catch this cat. And the dogs were going crazy because the cat was running down the aisle of the dogs, and the dogs were like, "Oh
Right.
my god, a cat!" And then it was running around, and you've got this cat was already wild. It was a miracle it had been caught in the first place, and we're running around this rescue trying to catch this like cat,
Right.
and oh my god, I
Right.
don't
Sounds like a Three
it
Stooges
was,
episode.
it was, it was very, and we felt so bad because we just came because we wanted to help this cat, and now we had completely caused chaos. And they were so nice. They're like, "Don't worry, it's fine." And we were just like mortified, absolutely mortified. Anyway,
Oh, that's
so
funny.
there's rescues. You can always go to a rescue and get a dog or a cat from those places, and that rescue helped our friend to actually post posters and put information up on their website and through their Facebook page and everything to try and help her adopt the other kittens. So you can get help like that
Hmm.
from rescues, even if they won't take the cats.
Right.
And then,
Right.
like we did, everybody knows somebody that has a kitten that's ready to be adopted. I mean, you've seen them, right? I mean, they must have come by you 1,000 times.
I am on many a WhatsApp
Mm-hmm.
group. All of my WhatsApp groups, I think all of them at
Right.
one point have tried to
Yeah.
offer up
And they're
kittens. Yeah,
adorable.
and then with the
Oh,
photos and
and how
everything just to
cute
get
they
you. I'm like, we've
are,
got two.
and how
Yeah,
adorable, and they
yeah.
are. And I'm not even a cat person. I'm a
Mm.
dog person. Really. Now I'm a cat person.
Yes, you are. I mean, I think you can
Yeah,
add
so
that to your
just
resume. I
a,
hate to tell you.
word of advice. It's very, very, very easy to get cats here. So be careful.
Right, right. And they do have, like everywhere else, they have
Hmm.
breeders for, if you want a purebred dog and
Yeah.
purebred cats. I mean, that exists. I will say, because I've always wanted, and there's a certain time, like I do still fantasize that a dog will happen, but now I
Yeah.
keep telling the kids it's when they leave, because I'm not taking care of 40 beings. I got to
Right.
get a couple out of the house before I bring a new being that I have to
Oh, so
walk
what
and
kind
take
of
care
dog
of
would
and
you
love.
get?
Oh, I'm torn, but I really do like Cocker Spaniel-y type
They are
things and
adorable.
King
Oh
Charles
my god,
Spaniels.
yes. So
Yeah.
cute.
I like I like furry floppy Tibetan
Yeah,
Terriers,
yeah,
those
yeah,
kinds
yeah.
of that furry floppy loving. And there's a lot of not a lot. There's a few Cocker Spaniels in this neighborhood
Mm.
that, I have said, Plumber, just grab the dog. They
They
can't
won't
run after
know.
you. No one's going to arrest a child. Just go grab it. Go.
Because getting it's the problem, not taking care of it.
Well, I'm like, it's already behaved. Look
That's
how good it
true.
is on the leash.
It is
Get that
already
one.
trained. Oh my gosh.
I would never do that. People, don't turn me into the authorities.
No.
But
No, like you said, there's lots of ways to acquire pets in Spain, like everywhere else, but there are a lot of opportunities to adopt stray and or kittens that have been well taken
right,
care of since birth, just maybe in someone's garden or some random situation. And
right,
we got
right.
Blaze from I guess a pet store. In reality, I know these are sort of, I didn't know they existed here. We were in the process of
Okay.
looking for a German Shepherd and came across her accidentally in a pet store, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is horrible. What's she doing here?" And I was like kind of mortified, and so we ended up getting her because that was how.
I'm noticing a pattern
Ugh,
here of a weak
if
bleeding
trust
heart. But
me,
yes.
it is a miracle I didn't leave with all the dogs in that. Oh my
All
god.
the animals, 3 hamsters, a
And
parrot, and
500
2
dogs. I mean, they
cockatiels.
had the cute little whatever those are, the little white fluffy ones as puppies. I mean, they look like cotton wool balls, and they're
Hmm.
just adorable. And I think we had gone into a shop to look for food for pets, and turned out they had a whole pet store situation with puppies,
Okay.
and now I think that's now illegal.
I think so too. I mean, I've never seen a pet store
I
in the
haven't.
city, but I think they have been illegal for like a year or something. That I
Yeah.
mean, breeders are still around, but I think you can't market little doggies
No,
in the
I mean
window anymore.
the last pet store that I saw, well, I'll say that 500 times, was, I believe, at the Beverly Center in LA when I first moved there in the early 90s, when they still
Oh yeah,
had them
yeah, I
there. Do you
remember
remember
that
that
store.
pet store? That's, I think, the only pet
Yeah,
store I've ever
it
seen.
didn't close that
Oh,
long
really?
ago. I mean, it was
Oh,
there for a
wow.
really long. I mean, yeah, because me and my daughters used to
Oh
go
my
in there.
gosh,
So I
really?
mean, it was still around
Oh,
10 years ago
wow.
because I think it was there even maybe up to like 6 or 7
Oh, wow.
years ago.
That's long. Yeah. So
So
what they did at this pet store here is now you're not allowed to have a pet store, but it didn't seem to stop them from having pets in the store that were in an area that you weren't allowed to access without somebody showing you around. So it stopped people from going around and like banging on the glass and stuff, right? But they still had a
hmm
scenario where you could get puppies from that place.
and those were dogs there for grooming. Those you think were
Oh
for
yeah, because we
acquiring
acquired
and taking
one.
home.
And
Okay.
it wasn't someone
That's how it
else's
was.
that was there for grooming.
Okay.
No.
No, I mean, so that when you got Blaze, that's
No,
how
when
the
we got
scenario was back
Blaze,
then.
you could just
Mhm.
walk in and see all of them. They
They
were
were in a
in,
cage
they had bigger like
and
glass
kennels
sort of,
and
they looked like stables, like small stables kind of, with glass that you could look
okay.
in for the bigger dogs. But Blaze was sort of by herself, and of course you've met her. She is so exuberant that as soon as she saw us, it was like, I'm yours, and and you're like,
Right.
okay. So, and then
Yes.
and then I went home, and then the next time, like, but we can't leave her there. Like, this is, I just, obviously, if dogs are at a breeder, they're gonna stay with the mom for as long as is needed until
Right.
someone takes them, right? But if they're taken into a pet shop, it is a whole other scenario where they've probably been taken from their mom, I think, too early. That is just my like observation of what I think happens, but I can't prove that. But so I think, they have to take them from their mom early in order to have them in the pet store early enough for people to get little puppies. Right? I mean, so
Right. For
just
people to be for
logistically,
their
yeah,
hearts to
just
melt. Yeah.
logistically, they
Yeah.
have to be taken. Whereas if we had got Blaze or, a dog from a breeder, that would have been different, obviously.
Yeah, and a lot of breeders too. I mean, and people do talk about breeders and puppy mills, but I mean, there are breeders that
Mm-hmm.
really love what they're doing and take care of. And like, you don't get the dog until it's
Yes.
3 months or whatever it is. They have different rules,
Yeah.
and they want to make sure everything is
And
okay.
there's a big difference, and you will know here in Spain, just like in America or any other like place, there is a system for breeders that have certifications. So it's not like the
Right,
Wild West here. Like that's the same as it is anywhere else. Like you said, there's going to be people that are just breeding, and there's going to be people that are doing it properly. So
right, right.
that's how we found Blaze, and that's how we found all our cats. And we would have another 50 cats if I was like, stop. This is it.
Right. We're good with
Oh
two.
man.
I mean, I didn't get the cats that I wanted. I love them. I wanted a
Oh, they're
Maine
so
Coon. I
cool.
still want a Maine
Yes.
Coon. But back in LA, when we got these cats, we went to the pound to
Mm.
look, and I was like, we'll look and maybe we can get one. And then they have an impulse buying rack
Of
right
course
at the
they do.
checkout after you've gone into the room with all the grown-up
Oh.
cats. And then they have like a little kitten
Oh.
pen right there by the register, and you're like, you can't do. Well, I can't send that one back. And no, we left with two.
And I
So
also want
anyway,
to say, when it comes to cats or dogs in general, now that I've owned 4, 5 like animals from kittens and puppies, getting an animal that's fully grown and has its personality, and you know what kind of animal it is a huge benefit. So I also want to promote people getting animals that are in pounds that are grown up, because
right,
I'll say we had 4 really cute kittens. We do not have
right.
4 really cute cats, okay? Some of them are monsters. I mean,
Aw.
they're adorable and they're great, but I mean, they all grew up with very different personalities that was not visible as kittens. And they're all lovely,
Right,
but they're
right.
extremely different. And I
Cats do
They
have
do have,
personalities
I
stronger
think
than
they do,
dogs,
and
I
they're
think.
not
I
as
mean,
adjustable. You know, you can train dogs, I think, a little easier than cats. But I just want to promote also getting dogs and cats from pounds that are older, because there's a benefit to that. You know what the personality is. And I think
right.
that's, everybody wants the cute little puppy and kitten, but it's not necessarily a benefit.
No.
Except they're awfully cute.
So we've talked about like registering in the pet
Mm-hmm.
passport stuff, right? So what are some other rules that people should be aware of in Spain? Like I know what I've seen here in the city is when not all the
Mm-hmm.
time, mind you, you are supposed to pick up after your dogs, but please walk with your
Gosh,
eyes
yes.
towards the pavement, not up to the sky. But what I do see is a lot of people
Mm-hmm.
washing the pee off. They all carry water bottles to like dilute the pee
Yep.
on the sidewalk.
That's, I think,
And
something which is
so
quite nice that people do. I mean, like you said,
mhm.
the places that I've lived, it's been pretty good as far as people picking up. But yeah, the pee seems to be something that people are much more like open to doing, which is just carrying a water bottle. Like that seems
Right.
easy, but carrying a bag of poopy bags for some reason is not. But
And watching your
oh
neighbors
yeah,
step
that's
in it because
fun.
you've let your dog poop in the middle of the sidewalk,
Yeah.
not even to the side, but like right
We
in the
don't have
pathway.
that happening a lot here, but I have before picked up someone else's dog's poop that they when they had pooped in right in front of someone's gate and left it. And I'm like, that's
Hmm.
just not nice. That's not my dog's poop, that's not my
No.
gate, but that's my neighbor and I've got doggy bags, so let me pick that up for them. And yeah.
There's a special place in HE double hockey sticks for people who don't pick up
There
after their
is.
dogs. Oh, I wanted to say too, besides the people who don't pick up
Mhm.
after their pets on the street, there's another section of HE double hockey sticks for certain people. And those are the people who leave their dogs and cats unattended and
Oh yeah.
stuff. And I will say there is a law in Spain that you can't leave your dog for more than 24 hours or a cat for more than
Mhm.
3 days,
That seems
which is
reasonable,
good
I
to
think.
know.
I mean, our cats would
Yeah.
probably be happy without us for more than 3 days, but as far as giving them food and water, we probably, I mean,
Right.
they've never been left unattended that long, but I'm sure they'll be like, oh, peace and quiet. Thank you.
Right. I mean, I think a cat's one thing, right? Like if they've got enough food and clean litter boxes around the house, you can
Right?
probably leave them for a while because a cat won't eat a whole bowl of food in one sitting. Whereas a dog, you can't leave food out for a dog because they'll
Depends
just
on the dog.
eat the
We can
whole
leave it.
food,
Blaze
right?
is she doesn't eat. She only eats if she wants to eat. Yeah.
Really? She
No,
doesn't
I put a
scarf down
bowl
a whole
out for her
bowl
this
just because it's
morning
there?
and she has looked at it and then walked away, and then two of the cats went in on it.
Oh,
Because
God.
they're like,
Ew.
so Blaze,
It's usually the
yeah.
opposite, the
And
dog eating the
then,
cat
but she
food,
would
right?
eat all the cat food if she was left the cat food. It's what you can't have, basically. But speaking of sort of
Hmm.
laws, you are supposed to have your dogs on leashes. I mean, unleashed.
Hmm.
Everyone's dog is amazing and they can be not leashed. I mean, that's just not true. So just keep your dog on a leash, because
Right.
there's people that don't want to have a dog running up to them. So it's not necessarily your dog
Right.
is dangerous. It may be that your dog is friendly and other people are not dog friendly. I
And people have relative I mean have
Mhm.
fears of dogs. I mean there are people
Yeah.
with the real fear of dogs. I will have to say we were at a cafe the other day, and I never even told you this in private, so I'm going to tell it to you
Woohoo.
in public on the podcast for a first time story. We were at a cafe in the other side of town, and we just looked, and there was a child walking his cat on a
Oh, I
leash
love
down the
it.
sidewalk. It was the cutest thing, and we were all like, how did he get that cat to
Oh, we
do
used
that?
to
I
do that with
love that
Luna.
idea.
Oh, totally.
And
She
she would do
loved
it.
it. She loved it
She
because
took
at the
to it.
time we were in an apartment and she's quite an outdoor cat. And she loves being in the
Hmm.
car. She's like a dog. She loves being in the car. She likes going for walks on her little leash. Yeah. I just feel like such an idiot doing it. But I was like,
Right. I've always
oh
wanted
my
a cat
gosh.
that would go on a leash, but you can't even put a collar on my
No, she
cats
doesn't
and go
like
crazy,
collars.
right?
She'll
You can't
pop them
even.
off. But yeah, but that is yeah, she used to love it. Now, of course, she's outdoors and she doesn't have to care about that. But yeah. And also I'm gonna say I haven't owned pets myself before, but I have known a lot of people with pets. I've been with other people's pets in the States and England, and I have never come across more people absolutely terrified of pets than I have in Spain. It's one or the other. Yeah, tons,
Really?
like more, like just way more. Like I understand with Blaze, she's a big dog, so I can sort of get it. People will literally cross the street and walk on the other side, and then other people are just like all over her. So
Mm-hmm.
I will say I've come across that more here. So do be careful. Like not everyone's going to
Okay.
love your animal, and that's fair enough, and that's their
Right.
prerogatives. And the other thing is Spain does have, I think like America has these too, but there is a thing called PPP dogs, which is perros potencialmente peligrosos, which is potentially dangerous dog. They have a list of dogs that are, you are required to have a criminal background check, and you are required to have insurance above, I think, 150,000. You are required for them to be microchipped, and you have to register them with the local city, and they are technically required to be muzzled in public and on an especially short leash of 2 meters or shorter. And you can only have one
Mm-hmm.
person walking one PPP dog. So if you have,
Right. So you can have control. So these are like your
yes,
big
I
muscle
will list the
attack
dogs. I
dog
haven't heard
type
of them all, but
things,
I'm going to
right?
list them in case people own one. And then you know this dog.
Okay. Okay.
So, an Akita Inu, we have a neighbor that has one of those. They're super cute, but Blaze does not like this dog at all. But they have a special relationship. They are super cute.
Okay.
American Staffordshire Terrier, Staffordshire Bull Terrier, Pit Bull, Rottweiler, Doggo Argentino, Fila Brasileiro, Toso Inu, Bull Mastiff,
Okay.
Doberman, Neapolitan Mastiff, Presa Canario, Mallorcan Presa, and this is French, Dogue de Bordeaux, like a basic, I don't know, a Bordeaux dog. Anyway, those are the dogs that are on the list, and it varies in different parts of Spain, and it will vary in different parts of Europe. So if you
Right.
probably know if you have a dog that is likely to be one of these types of dogs, because it's probably one of these types of dogs where you live as well. So I would say that's probably the case.
Right, right. So I have a question because, like I said before, we have
Mm-hmm.
indoor cats and we don't have pet. I haven't done all the stuff we're supposed to do because they've never left the house. Like we haven't gotten the pet passport. Don't turn me in because we haven't gone to a vet yet.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's no reason to have has gone. So what has been your veterinary experience here? I mean, I see vets on every corner in the city, but we have yet to go
Yeah, that's
to go
very nifty
into
actually.
one.
So the pharmacies have the green crosses, the lit up green crosses on the side
Hmm.
of the building, and all the veterinarians, not all of them, but they can have a blue cross. So if you're emergency looking for a vet, they have a blue cross that's lit up, which is
Hmm.
quite nifty. Yeah.
Yes,
And
I've seen
then
that. Yeah.
I mean, we've had really, really nice experiences. I will say they have same as what we experienced in the States. They have your regular vet, and there's a 24-hour emergency vet. We can get an insurance. So an insurance for Blaze for one pet is 180 euros a year, and that covers
Hmm.
her free vet visits, like the whole year. So the required vaccines are also free, and then it would be, I think,
Okay.
20% off any kind of procedure or something.
And how much do you pay a year?
180 euros.
Oh, that's not bad at all. I mean,
Yeah.
one vet visit in the States,
Well, I mean,
200
this was how it was
bucks,
sold
right?
to us, like one vet visit with a vaccine and then something else, and you're up there already. I mean, a
Right.
vaccine is usually, I think, around 25 euros. A vet visit might be 25
Hmm.
euros. So then they looked in her ear and gave her some other stuff, and you're going to
Hmm.
be up there at 60, 70 euros. And that's just once,
Right. Right.
and
And dogs go to the, well, you have outdoor cats, so they can tend to go to the vets a lot too, but
uh,
dogs tend to go to the vet a lot more than
that's a
cats.
whole
I
other
mean,
conversation of our
yeah.
pets, cats coming in covered in blood after a fight, and
Right. Blood and briars stuck in their fur
yeah, but
and
the vets have been really great. The one that we go to, they have a WhatsApp, so I can communicate through WhatsApp. I can get an appointment through WhatsApp and do everything and say, this is what happened. Can they come in? They always take them the next morning, like super early if needed. And it's been a very good experience. And if you
right.
have dogs, especially certain, I mean, they eat everything. When Blaze was a puppy, I mean, good Lord. I mean, she ate Jawad's. Jawad had for his kitchen garden. He had all the little seeds. He had them all in little pots, and they all had nice labels on because we had a label maker. So
Mhm.
he'd gone to town with these little labels of what everything was. And it was
Right,
all
right.
on this table waiting to grow so that it could sprout and then get put in the garden. Blaze upturned that table and just ate everything she could find and was pooping.
Of course she
She
did.
was pooping
Of
out
course she
labels
did.
for a week. So it's like, hey, we got cucumbers in the poop today. Like,
Oh.
it's nice when the poop comes out labeled. Anyway, I mean, so
Oh.
sometimes you need a vet. If you have pets, you need a vet, and we've had a very good experience here.
Right, right. And I've noticed too here, I mean, my cats, I'm very frugal when it comes to pet ownership, and my
Mm-hmm.
cats do not get fancy cat food. I don't bel I kind of don't believe in that. You know, I
Uh-huh.
think the kibble's just fine. So it did take us a while. We did go to the fancy pet supply stores for food. Like the first couple weeks, 'cause I will say, when they got off the boat, what I didn't
I
mention
was
in the
gonna
boat is
say,
they
I
were
got some pet food from you when you first got here.
yes,
How did that
yes.
happen that I ended up with
Yeah.
your cat food?
Because the cats first for a week were fed sushi and roasted chicken and poached salmon for a week on the boat. That's
Hmm.
the other thing about the boat. The Queen Mary spoils the cat, so
It
they
was
were having a
spoiled
hard
rotten
time.
over there.
Yeah. Now I have to say that cat food I gave
Yeah.
you, they now
Oh,
eat.
okay. Well.
So it took them a while, but now they do the cheap stuff from Mercadona,
Hmm.
much to my pleasure. But we did do the round of the
Yeah.
others, going to trying to find the IAMS type foods and all of that. And
Yeah.
we went to a place called, I want to say, it sounds Japanese, Kiwoko.
Yeah.
Is that a Japanese word?
I don't know if
mean,
it's a
going there
Japanese store, but it's one of the main pet stores here that is like a PetSmart. I mean, they have everything, including pet adoption, in there. They
right.
have
I've seen
cats and
those at a
stuff in there.
Miscota. Are there other stores too that I
So
don't know about?
there's Mascota is one. As we said, mascota is the name for a pet in
Hmm.
Spanish. And then tienda animal we love. It just depends on it. You either in a strip mall-y place, you will either have a tienda animal or a kiwoko, one of the others.
Okay.
And then Zoo Plus is a really good place online if you're not going to Amazon or something. Zoo Plus does all animal stuff for ordering
Okay.
food and things like that if you want it delivered. We have the weirdest cats. They won't eat fish, so they will not eat fish, like flavored
Flavored. Oh,
dog
that's
cat
crazy.
food. Yeah, it's bananas. So as long as you find one, any grocery store has a section for animals. You can get treats and food and litter in all the grocery stores, but for big varieties. And then there's also a lot of independent places that do probably the higher end kind of food, and your vet will
Hmm.
also have food. Most likely they'll have a little shop for food and things as well,
Right.
especially if your pet needs something special.
Just like any vet back in the States, they have
Mm-hmm.
the upmarket, oh, this is only
Absolutely.
50 euros a can. You'll love it. You can't not feed your dog this.
Absolutely.
I'm onto their
I
game.
know
I'm onto their
it's so
game.
true. And then if you need we've had to run it. We've run into a few times where we've needed Blaze to go stay somewhere because the cats can stay with people popping in, but Blaze obviously needs a
Hmm.
lot more attention.
Yes, you usually have to board a dog where
Mhm.
cats can get a visitor. Now we know every 3 days by law.
Right. So we obviously invested, because we have a German Shepherd. We invested in training for Blaze when we
Okay.
had her as a puppy because we didn't really know what we were doing and we needed to learn how to train and train her. So they
Right.
also do pet lodging, and also if you find private people that might do it, they're probably going to charge around 20-25 euros a day for a pet.
Wow, that's really inexpensive. I mean, compared to LA's like 200 a day.
Oh
Like,
wow.
I never had a dog in LA because I'm like, if we in the States, if you want to go away, you're paying for another vacation for your
Well,
dog.
you need to
You
find
know,
somebody that will take your dog, which is,
right,
that's easier if you have a smaller dog, I would say. And if you have cats,
right,
easy to find someone to pop into your house and make sure they're okay and give them a little tickle and some food and some water. But yeah.
right,
And
right.
grooming we've never done. So I have no idea what that costs. Our vet used to
I
do
see a
it.
lot of grooming shops in
Hmm.
the city, so people do pamper their pets here, like
Yep.
everywhere
I've
else.
also
So there
seen
are.
grooming vans. So I think they also go around and do it at people's homes.
Oh
So
yeah,
I've
especially in your
Oh
suburb type
yeah.
places.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
We don't have
That's the
ice cream
thing.
trucks, but we have grooming trucks apparently.
Right.
So
Now, I haven't seen this. Have you seen this in the countryside where you had talked about, you've acquired stray cats? Have you seen stray packs of dogs out in the countryside?
So Blaze got out one time when she was a puppy and just sat on the other side of our gate, but nobody knew we had her. So the police were called. So what you can do is you can call the police, not the emergency number, if you have a stray dog.
Hmm.
What usually happens around here is you grab the dog if you can, and then you put it on a local WhatsApp group and see whose dog it is. If you can't figure that
Hmm.
out, or the dog looks dangerous or something, you call the police in, and they have every sort of municipality will have some kind of system for getting the dog to one of these lodging places. They probably have an agreement with
Okay.
them. So there's not a lot of stray dogs, but there are sometimes quite a lot of dogs that have escaped from homes.
Okay.
So this is kind of where this is what I've experienced. Not a lot of stray dogs, but that doesn't mean you won't come across a stray dog that has got out. And
Right.
then it's just a question. Like we've found quite a few dogs outside in our community, and it goes on the WhatsApp group, and everyone's like, that one again, and it finds
Hmm.
its way back home. And I have myself driven out through the fields and seen a stray dog that really did look stray, and I had gone back to the police station and given them the GPS for it, and they would have sent someone out to get it. Never saw it again. So no, I don't see a lot of stray dogs, but a ton of stray cats, obviously.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
And there doesn't really seem to be a government system for this. It's all very private. If there's a colony being taken care of, if there's people sterilizing cats, it's all done privately through groups of
So
people.
there isn't like a government pound
I
kind of
don't
thing.
think
It's like just
so.
private
It's all
people have
private.
it.
So we've gone to rescues.
So I've seen people post in the groups that like these rescues or
Hmm.
the pound type places, they're out in farmland, right?
Yes.
They're out in the middle. It's
They
not like
have
in the city.
space,
So
and they're done, I would imagine, all privately. So even you can go in and you can get help, and you can find dogs and cats there, but they're working on donations almost surely. Yeah. I mean, some people, it's their dream.
right.
They get a farm, they get a little finca, they're out there with all their rescue animals, and boy, can you probably collect a full farm of animals within about 5 days, I would think.
Right.
That would be my guess. Oh, one thing we didn't touch on, I think we kind of, not surprisingly, went off on a tangent on
Us? No
I know,
way.
on part of the trip for you kind of stopped at the plane, but you also took a train with your cat. So could you just quickly tell us, and then we'll be
Right. Well,
done?
this is actually important for people living in
Right.
Europe because you will be facing the train a lot more
Mm-hmm.
than anything else. And if you don't want to board your pet and you have a small pet, so the train, that is, thank you for reminding me to bring that up. So it is it is relatively easy if you have a small pet. So cats and dogs that can fit like an underseat carrier
Okay.
type of thing, even though they're not going underseat, they have to be in your lap, but
So Blaze.
not
So Blaze
outside.
is a small
Yeah, so
pet
not
dog,
Blaze.
lap
So
dog.
yeah, yeah, no. You would be sitting on her lap.
Yes, that's
So
probably true.
anyway, but it's like the pets that you would put on a plane
Mm-hmm.
with you, that size, your small dogs and your cats. Most of the trains, Renfe, Ouigo, Irio, they all allow them, and it's like about €10 per pet,
In a
and
in
it's like
a
one
in a pet carrier,
in a pet
not
carrier,
on a
and you pay
leash walking around.
not on
Okay.
a leash, so it's only a pet carrier. And but if you use Renfe, if you pay for like the fancy ticket, like the first class
Mm-hmm.
ticket, then the pet fee is included in
Oh,
that.
okay.
So when you're booking, look and see, because if you book far enough in advance, the first class ticket might only be €10 more, €15 more. So you might as well
Oh,
get
I
that
see. Okay.
and put your pet, because you're not paying extra for the pet, and then you're not paying extra for seat selection if that matters to you.
That would
So
be one pet.
one
Okay.
pet, yeah.
Yeah. So if you wanted to
So
like travel with two pets, even if you went first class, you'd probably still need to buy another ticket and for the
well,
other
it's
cat.
it's only one pet per person too. So
Oh,
you'd
okay.
have
Well,
to be,
that solves
if you
that
want
problem.
two cats, yeah,
One pet per
yeah,
person.
one pet per person. And now Renfe, the state-owned system, does allow large dogs up to 40 kilograms. So that's a pretty large dog. That's what, like an 88-pound dog,
Mm-hmm.
something like that,
Yeah.
right? And they do allow that, but only on certain routes. Only like from Madrid to Barcelona to Alicante, like the major routes, you have to book it way in advance, because they have a special car that they will allow a dog in, and only one or two dogs per train for the
Okay.
large dogs. The little dogs, there's no limit. As far as I can tell, there's no limit. But for the large dog, and you have to get there like almost an hour, like 40 minutes to an hour before, because there's paperwork and there's a system to do, because they have to make sure the dog isn't going to attack other people
Right.
and all that stuff. But you can travel with a large dog, if you on that line only. I don't think on WeGo or any of the other lines you can.
That's good to know. They would presumably be in a crate, or you'd be walking on.
Well, no, you just can't have you can't carry a crate onto a train, right? So it's.
I mean, you could with two people, I guess. So you can actually walk on with a dog on a leash for those ones if it's a big dog. Okay, that's good to know. If it's a big
dog and there's only one or two per train, so it's going to require some navigating. Like you're not necessarily going to try to do that last minute, like you could with a dog or cat in a carrier. No.
So speaking of getting dogs on now, Blaze is not a service dog and not quite trained to that level. Do you know anything about service dogs on public transportation?
So yes, service dogs are allowed, but they have to be service dogs. They cannot be emotional support dogs like people like to do in America. Like they have to be service dogs, and you can actually be fined if your dog is on a train and it's getting pets and you've said it's a service dog and it's getting pets or it's barking. They can fine you and kick you off the train because that's not a service dog. So you have to be. They're not. And I really respect that because service dogs require a lot of training and they serve a purpose. So when people scam the system for their pet, they're hurting the people it's supposed to benefit.
I've seen some delightfully calm and wonderful service dog fails. You know what I mean? So it's like not all dogs that even go into the service dog training make it through, and some of those dogs come, and those dogs are delightful. So yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, when a service dog makes it through all that training and is actually a service dog, that's very special.
Yeah, and so with the service dogs, they don't count as the dog limit on the train.
Yeah, of course.
And then I think they can. I don't know about go anywhere, but there's a lenient. They don't follow.
Yeah, I'm sure they can go anywhere. Yeah, perfect. I think that pretty much covers my knowledge of dogs. I may have 1,000 more stories, but things that other people need to hear about. We might have even.
I think we've covered the basics of owning, bringing, acquiring pets, and taking care of them.
Yes,
in Spain.
I think so.
Well, until the next time.
Next time. Adios.
Hey, can't get enough of us? Follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Spain Podcast.
And on our website, ourspain.com, which we will be updating with exciting new things as we grow.
We would love for you to message us with any topics you would like to hear about.
See you next time.
Bye.